Hey everybody, Alan Barnowski here with a lesson for Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Today we are looking at the tune, actually two tunes from Billy Strings, two solos really from Billy Strings. One is the intro to Brown's Ferry Blues, the other is his solo on Reuben's Train. So we'll be looking at both of those. I'll play through each of them slowly and then give a few tips on things that I think will help as you go about learning this. So I do want to start by saying this video is a supplement to what you find in Acoustic Guitar Magazine. So if you don't have the text and the tab, find a link below this video and that should give you everything you need. All right, so I'll go ahead and play through the full Brown's Ferry Blues solo a bit slower and then got a few thoughts afterwards. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the solo. A couple of things. In the right hand, you're going to want to be using alternating picking. This is downstrokes on the beats, upstrokes on the upbeats, or the ands of the beat. If that's a new concept, just find the tab. Pick directions are in there, so that should get you through it. As far as the left hand goes, I think thinking about this solo in terms of chord shapes is really helpful. So there's 3 main chord shapes that I'm seeing here. There's this one, there's this one, and also here, and then this one. So I'll go through each of these. The first one is a G triad. These are frets 4, 3, and 3. If you're not familiar with this shape, you probably know an F chord. So if you take your 3rd finger off, you get 2, 1, 1 on the top 3 strings. You could just move that up 2 frets. That gives you your G triad. This is the way that Billy Strings kicks the solo. He's playing out of this G triad shape. He then goes down to this other one. It's like a C chord. If you can just kind of not worry about the 5th string, so you can just remove that finger and just play frets 2, 0, and 1. 2, 0, and 1 on the D string, G, and B string. And then you could also take that 3rd finger and make it a C7. So that's now frets 2, 3, and 1. And this is the shape he's using in the next line. Okay. So that's kind of like a C7 sound. And the last one is very obvious. It's this D7, frets 2, 1, and 2. And that you just see that show up in measure 7 and 8 in the tab. All right. So Billy Strings, especially in this solo, is playing out of chord shapes. But a lot of times when he's soloing, you see this happening. It's very common in his playing. It's common in many other flat pickers, especially in Doc Watson, who, Billy Strings is a big Doc Watson fan. So just a good concept to know, good way to learn this solo. The last thing I want to talk about is the long lick at the very last line of the tab, starting in measure 13, goes like this. All right, it's a great lick. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. So dig into that. But one thing I want to mention is that you can break it up into smaller pieces and come away with even more material that you can learn, and maybe it'll make its way into your own playing once you get comfortable with it. So take a look at just that first measure of that lick. So this is actually measure 13. All right, I'm just adding an open G note at the very end. Sorry, I'll get that again. So it's kind of like it's like a G run. All right, so there's that one. You could also take a look at measure 14. All right. Another good G lick, and then last of all, obviously if you're trying to play this solo note for note, then you would be playing that full lick. But if you want material to add into your other bluegrass playing, you can break those out into smaller chunks. So I hope that makes sense. And that's kind of it. That's kind of all I have for Brown's Ferry Blues. But now let's take a look at the second solo here. This is for Reuben's Train. So this one is no capo, and it's out of the D shape. All right. So I'm just playing 0, 2, and 3 on strings 4, 3, and 2. So that's frets 0, 2, and 3. Anyway, I'll go ahead and just play through the solo, slow down, and then have a few thoughts about it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this is a very different solo than the one that we looked at previously. I like this one a lot because it's following the melody of Reuben's Train with a good bit of slides and syncopations too. So it's a really cool solo for that reason. Also, I like it because he's mostly using downstrokes. A lot of times when we think flat picking, we're thinking just, constant eighth notes, really fast. But there's some great solos to be had just playing downstrokes, and you can see that here. There are some upstrokes that kind of happen in the second line, but for the most part, we're really just getting this kind of quarter note feel. Just chick, 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 that kind of feel going on. So that's really something to pay attention to here as well. The main shape, as I mentioned before, is that D shape. And this is actually like a D5, meaning there's no major or minor here. We're just playing D, A, and D. And we slide into this A note. There's a lot of slide-ins here. I do that with my index finger. There's also a good bit of pull-offs and hammer-ons. All right. And I mentioned no major or minor. Actually, we are getting that minor with that F note here. So just be aware that does show up too. So I hope you get something out of these two solos. I think they're both great solos to learn, really fun to play, and just good opportunities to learn and build your playing too. If you have any questions, would love to hear from you. So drop that below, or just find my info and send me a message. That's it. I'll see you next time.